Hey, what's going on, everybody? Stefan here from the Pitch and Pros podcast. Appreciate all of you tuning in to this second episode. Justin and I had a really great conversation, and we look forward to having you guys hear it and really learn from it. And I just wanted to pop in real quick to give a quick disclaimer. We had this conversation several months ago from when this is being released, and we talked about the Drake and Kendrick rap beef in there, and obviously we saw how that played out with the Ken and Friends pop out on Juneteenth and the July 4th music video and everything. And it was such a dope moment for the culture and in the rap game, and it was just really special to see. And I just wanted to give a disclaimer about that we talked about it before all that stuff happened. So you guys will hear when the episode starts that we touch on it a little bit and might not be as relevant now, but we still like to have conversations about stuff that's going on within the music game. And we hope to do more of that as well and kind of share our interest in music, our taste, what we like to hear. Because Wolf and I, we send each other music all the time. And it's something we really love. And we like making different playlists. And it's a huge part of just who we are and how we like to get into our modes when we're locking in, whether it's to get ready to record the show or to go work out or for him to step on the pitch and play. So we definitely plan on integrating that more into our content and sharing that with you guys, and also bringing on guests from within the music industry to share their insights and talk about the different skills and the tangible things that they did to get to where they are, and talk about the dynamics of the music industry, because sports music and entertainment is such a niche field, and we want to be able to continue to share those insights with you so you can really learn from it and get some good takeaways. And like I said, I think you'll enjoy this conversation that me and Smiley have. We touch on relationships within the industry. We speak from our own experiences and how we cultivated those relationships, how we nourish them and maintain them. And I'm sure a lot of you know, a lot of the times it's not always what you know, but who you know. And we really wanted to put that on display and have a nice conversation about that. So I think you guys will really be able to learn from it and hopefully get something that you can incorporate into your own career as you start to navigate this industry and build your own network and establish your own relationships. But and also too, I just want to say we love and appreciate each and every one of you that's tuning into this episode, that listened to the first episode. If you haven't already, please be sure to check that out. Justin and I talk about who we are, how we met, and why we started this show. And ultimately, it's for you. We want to be able to share tools and insights and knowledge, not from us only, but also from the guests that we bring on in the future to really give you guys the tools that you need to succeed in this industry. And also, too, I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you being patient with us as well. We all have, myself, Justin, Jeremy, we all have our own things going on, our own careers that we're building, and we want to build this simultaneously, and that takes a lot of effort on our part, and it also takes time. And we know that for you guys as listeners and as fans, you're eager to see the next episode and to listen to the next episode, and we appreciate you being patient and waiting for us, and we want to continue to give you content that's meaningful, that stands out, and that actually has an impact on you. And we appreciate all the feedback that you continue to give us. So if you know us personally, shoot us a text or a call to let you know what you liked, what you didn't like. Maybe if you have any outstanding questions about some of the topics that we discuss. And also continue to leave comments, DM us, leave comments on the YouTube videos. I know Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, sometimes they have features to leave a review or to ask questions. So definitely leave your questions and comments there as well, because ultimately we want to continue to provide content and information that serves you and that helps you in your career and your lives. And so I really appreciate all the support. We love you guys, and we're really looking forward to putting out more episodes and more content for you. So hope you enjoy the conversation.
What's up, Pitch and Pros family? We are back today with episode 2. My name's Justin Wolfe,
I'm Stefan Jones, baby.
and we're back to it today. We're gonna start off just kind of seeing how we're doing, and we've been able to be around each other a lot since the first episode. But how you doing, my boy?
I'm good, bro. I had a great day today. Was
Good,
just working, had my therapy session in the morning, so that was
good.
cool. I actually started working with a new therapist. My other one was great. It was just she was late a lot, and so it just wasn't really working for me. But I'm
Mm,
happy with the one I got now. It was kind of cool, just getting to meet her, go through that
good,
stuff.
good.
But yeah, worked, did that. Did a little deep clean of the kitchen. The stove was super dirty from some chocolate abuelita that spilled on it from like months ago. So I
Dang.
finally did a deep clean of that. Um, And then aside from that, yeah, just went on a run,
Good, bro.
uh, stretched, watched some podcasts. Nothing too crazy. Just chill. What about your day, brother?
It was good, bro. I mean, kind of going off your podcast, so I heard the Kanye one a little bit as I
Yeah,
walked in
the
today.
Lex Friedman one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I think the Lex Friedman and the Kanye one. It's a great episode
yeah.
because Lex he doesn't hold back in terms of asking
Mm,
Kanye the tough questions, and I think like especially with polarizing figures like Ye,
yeah.
you have to understand that they're still a human, but also to the controversial or the things that you don't agree with, like you still have to press them on those things. You can't shy away from it, especially as a journalist.
No, for sure, and I think it'd be something I'm kind of interested to hear because I
Yeah,
mean, like I heard it a little bit as I was in here, but I had to take a phone call,
all good, all
so
good.
I had to get that done. And first, I want to apologize if that intro wasn't the best. That was my first time introing, so we'll see how it
It's
looks
good,
and
brother.
turns out. But
All good, brother.
yeah, I mean, I'm doing good, bro. Day was good, busy like always. Coached in the morning, we had a work meeting, so
How'd that
it
go?
was good. Trying to get some more stuff done in terms of the marketing, like we've been talking about.
And for those of you listening who aren't aware, he's talking about with Golden Boot Academy. It's the
Yes.
training company that he works for here in the Bay Area.
Hopefully you watched the first episode so you know. But yeah, I mean, it was good to kind of touch on that a little bit more, kind of get some more information on it. But yeah, I don't want to dive too deep into it because I said it's kind of more the background stuff.
Yeah, a lot of great things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, got to be around good people today, so it was good. Got my workout in.
Yes, sir.
Got myself ready for good session tomorrow for the team. Big game this weekend, so excited for that.
Who are
But
y'all playing? So Oakland Soccer Club. Who you guys playing this weekend?
we play San Ramon FC. Back to playing them again. We played them 2 weeks ago. Tough game. That was the game we were up 2-0 at half, and they came back. But I think this game will be different. Hopefully,
It will.
Brandon will.
It
But
will,
yeah.
I'll say too, just as a fan for the games that I've watched and was able to attend,
Mm,
um, you guys are definitely making a lot of progress in terms
yeah.
of like that cohesiveness. Because I
Yeah.
know most of the top tier players on the team are guys who are playing at the collegiate level,
Yeah.
and they couldn't play while they were still in school. But now that obviously it's mid May coming up and everybody's graduating and summertime's kicking in, like it's cool that you guys are able to get those main guys back in and also still seeing those other guys that are on the team continuing to develop themselves
Yeah.
and get involved in the lineups and everything. So what do you think you guys need to do this time moving forward since you've already played that team to change the outcome?
Honestly, bro, if we play the way we played this last weekend, I think the way we played was just great. It was fun.
Yeah,
That was the most fun that I probably had played in a while. Just like being a part of that and like understanding like, damn, this is the way we've been wanting to play the whole year. But I think because we started to add our core pieces again, we started to have certain ideas start to come together, and everyone was starting to gel more. Like I said,
yeah,
have these different ideas and kind of be like, all right, this is how we're gonna play.
right.
So I think if we kind of come in with that mentality, come in with that dog mentality we did last
Yep.
time we played this team. I think if we mesh those two things, it'll be a way different game. So hopefully we come out with that same mindset. I mean, I'm ready for it. Hope
Yes,
the other
sir.
boys are. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow will be a good way to prep. And yeah, I mean, I feel good. Body feels good. Mind feels good.
There you
Well,
go.
definitely a little tired this morning, so I'm glad I got some more energy for this. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, as you could probably see, we're ready to get after it today. I mean, kind of touching base a little bit on this first topic we want to talk about, kind of talking about artists and a lot of controversy going on
Yeah. A lot.
uh,
A lot.
recently with the whole Kendrick Lamar and Drake rap battle, rap beef going on. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, to preface this topic, I do want to say neither of us condone. So, for
No.
those of you who aren't aware, Kendrick Lamar and Drake, two of the biggest rappers in the game, they're going through a huge beef right now, and it's gotten to a very, very personal level where they're making serious legal allegations about each
Mm-hmm.
other. And so, with that context being said, I want to make it very clear that neither of us condone um, either of the things that they're purporting about each other, which it's like pedophilia and domestic violence. Like we don't
Mm-hmm.
support any of that at all
No.
on this show. There's zero tolerance for that. But that being said, this shit is crazy. Like it's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
And like for me, it has an even more special place and meaning to me because like I've followed rap my whole life. You know,
Yeah.
like I grew up, my dad driving around in the Range Rover, he's bumping DMX, he's bumping Lil Jon, Usher, Chris Brown,
Mm.
and then that's like that. Those are my early days of hip hop and rap,
Yeah.
and then obviously, you know, growing up listening to Drake and Kendrick,
Mm.
and I think it's fair to say I'm more of a Drake fan just in terms of my listening consistency and
Mm.
preferences. But I respect both of them for their penmanship and their
Mm.
artistry. And I think just in terms of the actual beef and the songs themselves, I thought I really liked that Kendrick came out on the feet on the Like That feature with Metro and Future
Yeah.
and was just talking his shit. Like,
Mm.
you know, mother F the big three, it's just big me. Like, you
Yeah.
know, and because rap has always been about that. It's always been about battling for the top
Yeah.
spot and who's better than who. Um, and you know, he was doing that in response to First Person Shooter, that collab that J. Cole and Drake did, which is
Mm.
banger. Like you and
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
be
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of
karaoke in
course.
that in
Of
the
course. Come on
car.
now.
And then just to see how it's expanded and just grown from that is insane. Like, I mean, obviously it's probably a longer history to it that we don't know
Of
about, but
course. Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, just real quick, I'll just do a quick rundown of like my feelings about each of the records. So yeah, First Person Shooter and Like That, I think are both great songs individually, and
Mm.
obviously they set the precedent for all this stuff. And then Push Ups, banger. Like Drake
Mm.
was again, Drake went at everybody that was on that We Don't Trust You album by Future
Mm.
and Metro. He was getting back at all after all of them.
Mm.
And I think, you know, it set a good position for him in the beef. And then Kendrick, if I'm not mistaken, responded with Euphoria and
Yeah.
616 in LA. And Kendrick, he's certified boogeyman for a reason because he just kept getting darker and darker and more personal.
Yeah.
And then like Taylor made freestyle, even though I don't rock with the AI usage.
Mm.
Like that's not, I don't respect that.
Mm.
But I will say it was an incredible chess move by Drake in
Mm.
terms of the scope of you know this
Mm.
battle and this joust that they're having as two kings in the game.
Mm.
So I respected that, and I thought the lyrics and the verses from that were definitely solid as well. But I just didn't really like, you know, like using Pac's voice. You know,
Mm.
he's deceased. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just have some respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then, man, Family Matters and Meet the Grams, like that was the culmination of this rap beef. That's where things really kicked
Yeah.
off. And so, but and
Hitting
then,
low for sure in both.
ooh,
In both. In both. Yeah.
kicking below the belt. And then for Kendrick to then the day after drop Not Like Us and just
Whew.
it's insane, bro. He made a West Coast banger diss track, like,
Yeah.
and it's doing numbers. It's doing numbers.
Yeah.
And real quick, my last thought on the most recent song, so the Heart Part Six that Drake dropped. Again, major chess move, calling it the Heart Part Six because
Yeah.
obviously Kendrick has the Heart Part Four, Part Five, that whole
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
And then the album cover doing Dave Free's comments under Whitney's Instagram post,
Yeah.
like. And for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, it's just there's too much for us to give the full rundown.
Not.
You got to go do your own
Yeah. Yeah.
research.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm enjoying it. It sucks that it had to get this personal. And
Yeah.
I do want to see proof. Like they're making serious allegations. I want to see proof.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun seeing two of the greats like just go at it. And I just hope that it doesn't get to a point of violence, which it kind of looks like it's getting there.
Yeah. I mean, because what there was supposedly Drake had a shooting outside his house, right? Or that's what I saw on social media.
Yeah.
Like something happened in that sense, and
Yeah.
supposedly it was a security guard too. I don't know. These are all allegations, so I don't quote me on anything. I have no idea, but yeah, man, it's crazy.
What are you thinking about all the songs individually?
To be fair, like I haven't gone too in depth, but from like what I've heard in terms of I've listened to let's see, Push Ups, Euphoria, Meet the Grams, Family Matters,
Yep.
and then even Not Like Us. Those are like the main ones I've listened to. But from what I've heard, I'm like, dang, like it's getting crazy. Like
Yeah.
because for me, especially in terms of a lot of music I listen to, I'm very like mixed with what I kind of tap into because a lot of it is like hip hop, rap, R&B for my personal liking,
Mm-hmm.
and it depends on my mood if I want to get into like deep lyrical like meanings in like that kind of aspect because I appreciate people like Kendrick, J. Cole, Jay-Z. Kanye, like getting into those
Yeah.
deeper
By the way,
ideas.
J. Cole's off somewhere picking daisies in a
Yeah,
forest
he
right now.
enjoying himself because
He backed
he
out.
said let me get out of there.
Yep.
But you know, I really started to kind of tap into it more, especially with what was going on. I'm like, dang, this is getting like deep. And I wouldn't say I really dove like really deep into each thing,
That's
but just
fair.
kind of like listening to it. I'm like, man, it's a lot to really like attack someone with on both sides, on both sides. And I'm just like, yeah, like I don't know. And like we kind of talked about this. I'm like, especially with like how like Kendrick kind of just like dropped the bomb with like Not Like Us.
Mhm.
I was like, dang, I don't know if I can listen to Drake right now because it's kind of it's looking rough for him.
Yeah,
Like,
they're saying some real serious stuff about each other, man. It's
yeah,
getting dicey, but no proof's really been put out there,
no,
so
yeah, I know,
it
yeah,
is what it is on that front. But yeah, no,
yeah,
I think it is definitely interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where this
yeah,
goes. I know
absolutely.
there's been speculation. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I've heard speculation that this is all, on Kendrick's part, a play to boost eyes around his album release, which I guess is supposed to be around mid-May. But but yeah, no, it's definitely fun to see where this is going, and just hope it doesn't get more serious than what it's already gotten to.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Hopefully it doesn't.
yeah, but for today's conversation with Justin, I really wanted to go over with you guys, and more specifically on Justin's aspect of things is relationships within sports, music, and entertainment.
Mm,
Because developing relationships, cultivating them, and maintaining them, and also having those difficult conversations with people really close to you, people that
mm,
you work for, that work with you, or that work
mm,
for you. It's very difficult things to navigate sometimes. So we wanted to be able to shed a light on that. And Justin, I wanted to start by talking about your outer circle of relationships,
mm,
and I'll break down as I go forward with each of the circles and what I view being in those brackets. But for this
mm,
first bracket, the first outer circle, I would consider that to be your coaching staff and your teammates, right?
mm,
The guys that you are really in the trenches with in terms of footy.
mm,
Talk to us about how, in throughout your whole career, but just individual moments,
mm.
what it's like for you first joining that new team, whether it's SF State, Newberry, and how you cultivate a relationship and a rapport with your coaching staff and with your
Mm.
teammates.
To be honest, I think the biggest thing for me, especially when I'm coming into a new environment, is me just being myself. I think that's something that's always allowed me to really be close with everyone is me just being myself in every possible situation, every possible scenario, every possible just culture. Because I think in terms of me being able to adapt is what the biggest thing is I don't try to change who I am for the people I'm around. Like it's not like I can't, but I think I don't try to just completely change my personality just to fit in. I think for me, in terms of just being around everyone, it allows me to just like show that, hey, look, you can be comfortable around me no matter what. I'm very extroverted, like very, very, but I'm also like, I smile all the time. I try to be as positive as possible. So, I think that really allowing everyone to see like, hey, look, okay, like he's comfortable around me, and I think that allows me to kind of click a little bit more with the people that I'm with. And so, I wouldn't say like, every single person I'm with, I'm super close with. Everyone I played with. There's no doubt like there's gonna be people here and there where I'm not as close or there might be issues. That's normal. That's a part of being with a team, be having certain coaches where you have problems. But I think just me being the positive human being I am, being able to, like I said, adapt to different scenarios allows me to really be like, yeah, this is me. Like let's click, let's
Yeah,
click because I think all of us have the same common goal: win, get better,
right.
continue to showcase ourselves to the best possible like ability. And I think, that allows us to kind of mesh and gel together for sure.
You talk a lot about being genuine and having adaptability, and I think that's very prevalent when
Mm,
you are on the pitch. Like me
mm.
as a fan watching Justin at games,
Huh.
you not only see the talent in the leadership, but you hear it. Like you hear it, and
Mm,
that's one thing that I wanted to ask you about. So you are a very passionate player.
yeah.
When things are going well, you're going to express it.
Mm,
When things aren't going well, you're also going to express it.
yeah.
So for you, since you're very vocal on the pitch, right? Like you'll call a teammate out immediately if there's a mistake or if they're not in the right position.
Mm,
Um, how do you manage that on the pitch relationship with, going into the locker room at half, or maybe even after games or in training sessions? Like, how are you able to establish a rapport with each individual teammate of like, hey, I'm going to hold you to this standard. I'm a no BS type of guy.
Mm.
Here's what to expect from me. So how do you navigate that?
I think the biggest way to navigate it is just, like really, like, how do I explain it? Putting forth those ideas on and off the field. I think you have to set the tone early, and you have to, really understand that, not like when you step on the field, nothing's personal. Like that's the biggest thing. And I think sometimes a lot of people don't understand that. So when there is something that might be said, like kind of going at them, not really to like say, oh, you suck kind of thing, but more just like constructive criticism, like, oh, like, maybe do this instead, or just like that needs to be better. Sometimes some people might take it personal, but it's communicating with them off the field, or just in that moment be like, look, it's not personal. It's just like it's that standard. We're looking to have that high standard. And to be fair, I think it took me time to have that too, though, to be fair. Because I think there were moments when I was younger where I was like, I understood my ability, I understood what I could do. But I'm not saying like when I was super young, because to be fair, I wasn't always the top player. But like when I started getting there, I think, I was starting to kind of like, hey, like, like I see it this way, instead of being
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
How did you manage that with your father? Because your father, Alan, he was your coach for a long time, and
Yeah.
so and I personally, and my dad was my coach for
Mm,
baseball for several of the teams that I played on when I was in little league. So I can relate to having your dad as a coach, and
mm,
it's a difficult dynamic to manage. So with that relationship, because like you said, it's not personal, but
yeah.
when it's your father who you're with all the time, it gets personal. So how did you create that separation?
Honestly, it was tough. It was really tough. To be fair, I think it took me a lot of time to have that separation. I think it took until the end of me having him as a coach, because I think for me, I'll 100% like looking back at it now, he was probably one of the best coaches I've ever had playing. He understood the game, he studied the game so much, and he was really trying to not just grow his knowledge as a coach, but to benefit all of us and myself. So, he pushed me in so many different ways. And, there's that higher standard because I'm his son. There's higher expectations. So I think for me, I wanted to live up to those expectations. So then whenever, hey, maybe we won, but then I might be in the car getting grilled, like, for the way I performed, or the way I reacted to how he like wanted me to do something. And I think, like I said, it took me to the end, because I remember I remember a very specific moment in my like with my club team where I got in an argument with him like during a game. And because I was arguing with him and I was like really not happy, and when he took me off, like, because that's also like during that club time you can have like that free sub, but he took me off, and I remember him being like F this, like I'm leaving. And I was like, oh shit, like no, like stay, like it's like
Yeah.
we'll figure this out kind of thing. And I think that moment was like, that's when I realized like, okay, I can't take it personal. And it crazy how late it was, because it was probably like freshman sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
And he had coached me since like the beginning when I was like 7. So it's like, it took a long time for me to understand that, and adapting to that was really tough. But like I said, now really like looking back, I'm like, that was just to benefit me. And
Would you see that being the same situation for what you dealt with at SF State? Because I know, I don't know the specifics, but I do know that you struggle with some frustrations with the coaching staff that you played under there, and so
mm,
with that, in terms whether it was playing time, whether it was the position you were at, your
mm,
your role as a leader, as a captain on the
mm.
team, what type of conversations were you having? Or did you have those difficult conversations with your coaches?
To be honest, no, because I started to understand I just got to put my head down and work. Nothing, I couldn't let it just be like it's not given to me. Obviously I'm gonna be frustrated because I really felt like I should have played more. I feel like, especially me being the captain too, and like really being that leader, really setting the tone, being like, hey, come to training at this time, be here at this time, let's do this, let's do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, really taking on a lot of responsibility. And especially that year, really like zoning in on it and being like, yeah, like I'm gonna take a like grasp to it. And so because of that, I felt like I wasn't really able to set that tone on the field. And that's why I was like, every moment I got on the field, I was like, I got to prove it, because I really feel like I should be playing more. Towards the end, kind of got a little bit more, but not really. Like there was still the one game I got 5 minutes. It's like, oh, shit, like it's tough. It's tough to deal with, but like I said, it can't be given. I had to work for it, and and that's why it was really hard to like grasp that at an early age. And I think once I started to mature and learn and just understand, I was like, look, dealt with this before, dealt with this in high school, dealt with this my freshman year. It's like, just got to work.
What would you say is the biggest difference between the relationships you have with coaching staffs and your teammates compared to everybody else in your life?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, to be fair, I think with a lot of my coaches, I was just always open to learn. So I feel like it let me build a connection with them. I still remember to this day my freshman year of high school because that was my first time being like, oh, like I put my foot in the door a little bit more. I remember asking my coach every single day, what can I do better? I would ask him, what do I need to work on? And with that, I would literally stay after, work on it, add more, learn, and just try to grow. And I think, that kind of helps me build more of a relationship with them to really expand my game, but expand my knowledge and then show them like, look, you know, I'm I'm willing to be better, not just for myself, but for the team. Because I understand that it takes 11 to 18 of us to win a game. It's like we have to be able to be better, not like I said, not just for ourselves, but for the whole grand scheme of it, which is winning. Right. So I think that helped me get close to them, even in moments where I didn't agree, like especially in terms of it's crazy that my junior year curse, high school and college, and especially in those moments where I might not agree with it, but it was just like I said, putting my head down, understanding, okay, what are the coach's expectations? How can I still keep that connection where it's not like I'm burning a bridge?
And I've seen you translate that into how you are as a coach now. Like,
Mm,
like having the luxury of being able to see you train these kids.
mm,
I've seen you instill that same thing in them. Like, because you
mm,
mentioned the high expectations with Alan, your dad.
mm,
You mentioned the high expectations with other coaches. So it's
mm.
good. It's good to see that you are not only taking your learning experience from coaching and applying it to your own life, but you're also applying it to your own work as a coach as well. So I think
For
that's
sure.
great.
I appreciate that.
And we'll take a quick break, and then after that, we'll get into the next circle, which is going
Mm,
to be family, friends, and then the
yeah.
clients that you work with as a coach.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get into your relationship dynamics with your friends, your family, and your clients, and I put those into that next circle because
Mm,
your coaches and your teammates, they do become your brothers and your friends and people that you admire
absolutely.
and respect. But
Absolutely.
sometimes, like you said earlier, sometimes it's just not that close of a relationship. So
Hmm.
sometimes it just stays on the pitch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with friends, family, and your clients, especially since you coach a lot of younger kids that look
Hmm.
up to you,
Yeah.
it has a deeper connection. So it's that
Absolutely.
next layer.
Yeah.
So to you, what is the most important aspect of the relationships you have with your family, your friends, and your clients? And I know that those are three distinct groups,
Mm,
so you can attack them one by one if you want, but I'm just curious to know what is
mhm.
important about those relationships when you're off the field and you need to decompress and have people around you that support you.
Phew, that's a, honestly that's a tough question to answer because I've never really thought about it like that. I think for me, in terms of just like the biggest things in in general are just how they listen to me as just a person too. I think a lot of it comes down to not just what I do on the field, and I don't get me wrong, a lot of my life is soccer, so I'll talk about it all day. I got no problem with that. I have no problem with that. So that's why I think a lot of those connections kind of come down to that too, though, where it's like you open to me or open to listening to me talk about it. Great. I think that's how, in terms of like, let's say my family, that's how I really connected with like my mom, my dad, like us just talking about soccer,
Yeah,
connecting on
just
a
to
deeper.
interject real quick, talk about your mom because I see her at all your games. She's your
Yeah,
biggest fan.
absolutely.
She has the same like bleacher
Yeah, yeah,
seat covers that she's had like for who knows how long.
yeah.
But what does your mom mean to you?
Everything. She's like number one. Besides the man above, like she's number one. Like is the reason why I am who I am. She is like she's strongest person I know. But she's my biggest supporter. She's been there for me when I say every game, I mean every single game. The only time was literally when I was in the East Coast because she's not gonna be able to fly out left and right. But
She's
like
still watching the live streams though.
that,
She's still watching the live
exactly,
streams.
exactly. So she's watching every game. But I mean, like as soon as I came back to play out here, she's like, I'm coming to every game, and she's willing to travel wherever for me. Last year, this year she didn't make the Fresno trip, but no problem. But she made it with me last year. The year before, like she's willing to go the furthest distance for me to see me succeed, to support me and be like, this is your dream. I'm willing to be a part of it. No matter what I'm doing, whether it's playing, whether it's coaching, she's like, I'm 100% supporting you. I want to see you thrive.
Yeah.
And she's like, whatever you need from me, I will do for you. And that's why I'm just like, I'm so appreciative of her in every single aspect. And mom, if you are watching this, I love you very much.
We love you, Cher.
um, but yeah, I mean, she has really showcased, what it means to have someone by your side, like supporting you deep down, for like to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is a driving force for me to like really succeed. And that's why like, the connections we built through me playing, her watching soccer, her playing stuff like that, like it's so fun. And that's why I think we enjoy it. We support rival teams, but like we have fun with each other about it. It's like it's really an enjoyment. And it's like, even kind of like diving deeper into it too. It's like us going to earthquake teams too.
Right.
Like her and I are still season ticket holders. Like we don't go as much, but it's like a big, even her telling me like, I'll only go if you go kind of thing, because she really has that love and passion for it because of seeing me have that love and passion for it. And it's like that, just that deeper feeling, that deeper meaning for sure.
She's your number one fan, man.
Exactly.
And with your friends, what would you encourage other athletes, semi-pro, high school, college, and just any athlete out there who's listening?
Mm.
What would you encourage them? How would you encourage them to leverage their relationships with their friends?
Find a balance. It sounds cliche because that's what everyone says is find a balance, but like genuinely find a balance. Because I think if you, because don't get me wrong, like playing, like, and we even just touched on it too in terms of like your teammates being your brothers and your family. You build really close relationships with people you play with, and I still do. I have so many friends because of soccer, and like those will always be my brothers and my family. But there's also an aspect where you need to get your mind off the game. Like you really do. If
100%.
like for your mental and just your physical health, being able to enjoy different parts of life, exploring different parts of life, learning new things from other people, I think is huge. And that's why, like yourself,
Appreciate
Jeremy,
that.
all of us together that we've kind of gone through life with, especially in high school, I think that allowed me to really be like, I can kind of check out at times. And there's no problem with that. There's no problem with checking out because if you're on go mode all the time, it can be a lot. And I get it. Probably the top athletes in the world were always on go mode, and that's why they're where they are. And I commend them hugely for that. And but I also do think there's probably different aspects where like they got their boys that, supporting them through it. And I think that's a big thing too, is find the right people that are willing to support your dream too, that understand it. And all of you guys have been able to understand what my goals are. And I think that's why no matter what, like even if we don't tap in like all the time, every single day, we all understand that there's a common goal. And then
We know
that
too,
understanding.
like when you check out, like you said,
Yeah.
we're there to check up and check you back in.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're
100%.
here for.
100%.
And it's all love, right?
Yeah.
And I think even what's cool too is your clients do that for you in a way too.
Yeah.
Just like the
Absolutely.
joy that they bring to their
Yeah.
sessions.
Yeah.
Especially when they're inquisitive and they're asking, hey, like Coach Justin, like, how do I do this again? Like, or
Yeah.
can I go in slow mo for this one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just to kind of walk through
Yeah.
the drills that you're putting them through.
Yeah.
So talk about the relationships you have with your clients and how that's developed over time. Because for context, I mean, I know you talked about this in episode 1, but for those who are just now tuning in, you started at Golden Boot Academy through during your time at SF State, and
Yeah,
then you met them.
actually
Actually, no,
before,
before that. So
before.
actually, I'll
Yeah,
let you
yeah.
go ahead and break that down real quick.
So kind of going back to that, I started with Golden Boot Academy as a client back in high school. It was crazy because it was actually like that rough period where I was like I wasn't playing a lot. I was kind of going through a slump, so I was like, what is going to help benefit me? And me going to SF State camp, seeing them, connecting with them, being like, yeah, we thought you were a good player. We do training, and then after that, I DM'd them on Instagram. That's history.
Yeah,
I started training with them very consistently. I did my senior project on what it takes to be a professional soccer player, and that I did that based off of me training with them. I did a whole series of me training. I did videos. I showed it and just showed what it really took, and that they helped me through that. Interviewed them, all that stuff. And then after that, COVID hit. It was hard for me to train with them consistently, but then there was that period where it started to open up, and then I did a session. I was like, you know what? Like I've been doing stuff on my own. I've been learning different sessions. I was like, oh, I want to start getting into it and be like, I think I can run sessions for people. I did it with my friends. We trained together like when we could, literally like all throughout COVID, twice, three times a day. I started really trying to understand it. And then they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then they hit me up for like, hey, we got a kid, run the session. I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And then from there, it just kind of it took off.
that's
So
beautiful, brother.
yeah,
And with the clients that you have now, which it's grown
a lot,
exponentially
a
ever
lot.
since you got back from Newberry
Yeah,
in fall of last year.
yeah,
What with them, before we get on into the next layer of
yeah,
relationships,
yeah.
what with them do you take the most pride and appreciation in?
Their joy and love for playing. I think the ones that I really like connect with more in terms of my clientele are the ones that really just love the game because they understand that all the energy and effort I'm putting into their sessions is because I'm so passionate about not just the game, but them getting better. And I think them really taking it in and being like, I love playing, but I love what I'm doing right now. I
Yeah,
think that's when I'm like, okay, like that's when I really like click with those kids. And I think they're just their joy, their energy, they're just like, even their frustration, like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting to see every side of this kid pretty much.
yeah,
And I think it's like it kind of allows you to build that deeper connection for them to be like, this is someone I look up to
yeah.
in terms of aspect. And that's what like, you and I have had personal conversations where it's like, I wanted to dive deeper into that in terms of like, I want to inspire other people. I want to inspire the younger generation and be like, hey, look, I might not make it to the Premier League, but you can. Let me help you get there.
Right.
That's what I want to look for because I've always had like enjoyed being around pros when I was a kid, like learning from them connecting with me, being like, yeah, I'll sign your shirt. Yeah, I'll take a picture with you.
Yeah.
And for me, it's almost like that, but now I get to be the one to help them be like, look, this is what you can do to play here.
1000%. It all
Yeah.
comes back to moving the game forward and
Yeah,
influencing the next generation of athletes. And to
absolutely.
those of you out there, even if you're not an athlete or a coach, but you're just entering the sports, music, and entertainment industry,
Yeah.
you got to understand when you get to the peak of where you want to be at, or even when you get to a good stepping stone of where
Mm,
you want to be at, always be sure for any people in college or people in
mm,
the middle school, high school, or like players, whatever type of relationships or people you have in your circle that are below you in terms of experience that reach out for help,
mm,
pay it forward, pay it back. Because just a quick anecdote for me
mm,
on the business side, since I'm a journalist and
mm.
I work more behind the scenes and
Yeah.
not on the field like yourself as an
Yeah.
athlete, a lot of it comes from networking, whether that's online on LinkedIn, in
Yeah.
person, just not organically meeting people, but never shy away from jumping on a 15-minute call with somebody who wants to just pick your brain,
Yeah.
or even accepting a lunch to, just establish a new relationship. It's like with Justin, his clients, his friends, his family, it all comes back to like with the clients paying it forward and paying it back, but also maintaining those relationships and being open to new ones. And
Absolutely.
I want to shift gears now to the next layer, the deeper end layer, with intimate
Yeah.
relationships. I've seen you through the course of your playing career go through a couple different intimate relationships and
Yeah.
different circumstances for each of
Oh,
them, and you
100%.
played on different teams throughout the course of those relationships.
Yeah, I did.
So on that level, right? When you got the woman that you love who's like riding for you, going to your
Mm.
game, supporting you, um, or even even in instances where maybe that wasn't happening, right? Like
Yeah.
how do you intertwine your career as an athlete and that relationship and keeping that balance, but also understanding the purpose that they bring to you when you step onto the field?
Um, Dang, that was a deep one for sure. I think for me, it comes from just a lot of learning throughout all of it. I think for me, and just in terms of not just in terms of intimate, but like any kind of relationship, it's I look at who the person is deep down, and I think in terms of just like what I've learned throughout both of them, because that's essentially what it was two long-term relationships. But I think I saw things that I wanted in person and what I don't want. And I think kind of going into how it like relates to me playing, I need that person to support me with what I want to do and my goals and my dreams, because I have had someone where they didn't really support it, to be 100% honest, and it made it difficult to keep that kind of relationship because of that. Well, on the other hand, where I have and had someone that really supported it no matter what, even me going across the country kind of thing, and it took me a lot of time to really understand, like the deeper meaning in terms of like, their needs, my needs. And it's tough because there has to be a balance. And especially when you go into a sport, it's a high demand for yourself. And sometimes it's hard to have that focus on both. And I think that's something that's going to be difficult for, I think, anyone that plays sports.
For athletes like yourself who are coaching,
Hmm.
playing on a team, doing your own training, and handling the business side of things, it's a very busy schedule, right?
Hmm.
And at your level, you're semi-pro. You don't have an agent.
Yeah.
I'm like your pseudo assistant.
Yeah.
I try to help you out as much
Yeah.
as I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
but you don't have an official assistant
Yeah.
or manager, agent who's there to manage all of
Yeah.
those tedious things that come up day to day, like emails, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But to tie it into this aspect, that can sometimes cause a rift within the intimate relationship, right?
Yeah.
Because you're dedicating a lot of this very important time
Yeah.
to what you love and to developing and growing your career.
Mm.
And like you said, sometimes there may be other athletes out there who have experienced a partner that didn't necessarily support their goals or fully understand their goals.
Yeah.
And to those who have experienced that, and if you haven't, that's amazing, like great
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
But to those who have experienced it, what would be your advice to them on setting that standard and creating that compromise? Because it's inevitable that your schedule
Yeah.
is going to be busy, especially at
Yeah.
this level. So how do you create that compromise?
You have to set the tone early. I think you really do, because I think if you don't set the tone early and be like, look, this is what it's going to take for me to get to where I want to be. If you want to be a part of it, cool. If you don't, peace, kind of thing, So it's like, I think you got to look at a full understanding of what you really want. Like if you're like, I'm going all in, if you're going to be the person that's going to support me, come with me along the ride. I will do whatever it takes for you to show that I love you and I care about you, and I will like adjust what I can for you. Then amazing. I think that you can find someone in that aspect. But I also think that there has to be an understanding that things can kind of sway and change as time goes on, because if you really pursue something, you might move to one location. The next could be a different location. Are they willing to be with you a part of that ride? Are you going to have to keep that distance? What is it really going to take, and how much do you really love and care about that person to sacrifice that? And what kind of sacrifices are you willing to make? And on the other hand, too, are you willing to sacrifice that kind of relationship for what you're pursuing? I think there's a lot of people, I've seen people too where they've sacrificed the dream to be with someone they love and care about. And I don't think there's a problem with either aspect, because it's just a matter of what you want and what you truly like love in life. It could be a
Right.
sport, it could be the person, it could be whatever it is, but whatever's gonna make you happy. I think
Right.
that's what it really comes down to. And I think those are the kind of avenues you have to think about and pursue. And it takes a deeper thinking. It really does. And I think you have to take that step back and be like, all right, what do I want?
And I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because I was just going to transition into yourself,
Hmm.
and knowing yourself, knowing your triggers, knowing your desires, knowing your
Hmm.
passions, knowing your boundaries.
Hmm.
Boundaries is such a huge thing, men and women
Absolutely.
in any aspect of life.
Yeah.
So let's end on this. Let's end on you. How have you come to learn who Justin is through your athlete career, through your personal life?
Mm.
How have you learned who you are and who is Justin Wolfe?
Honestly, most of it comes down to what I've learned through playing, to be 100% honest. And it's kind of crazy because this is bad if I can't remember who said it specifically. I believe it was Ronaldinho. It was either Dino or Pele, but he said, I learned everything about life with the ball at my feet. And I really did. Because I think a lot of life's challenges, a lot of different things that have kind of been thrown at me have been because of the game. A lot of things that, like, may have happened off the field were still because of where I was at in terms of the game, being around teammates, being around people, being around just the whole environment of soccer. It's because of that. And I think a lot of it comes down to that. And just a lot of my life lessons go through that. And I think, in terms of as of recently, I think those life challenges kind of have now pushed me in different ways to understand myself in a deeper meaning, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of just like not just me as a soccer player, as a soccer coach, me as Justin, and I think me really going through what I've been through the last 6, 7, 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
almost a year. I think those curveballs and those challenges really are something I hadn't experienced and were things that I needed. I think those were really things I needed to understand me more, to allow myself to grow. And I am grateful for God for that. And I give all glory to God for that, because I think that has actually, like I said, really allowed me to grow. I think that has allowed me to be Justin.
What was the biggest challenge you faced in your life?
Um, I think, it's what I went through recently, to be 100% honest. I think, everything in terms of, like, playing, not getting minutes, stuff like that. It's part of it. I just kept my head down and kept working. I think the biggest challenge was my parents splitting up as I was leaving, and then going through,
Leaving to Newberry
yeah, living in
College.
Newberry. Sorry, to be specific, and then going through a breakup with a person that I genuinely love and care about, like, deep to the core. And it really hit me to the core because I really understood a lot of the mistakes I made. And even just in terms of the person I needed to grow into. And so I think all of that happening at one time really threw me off. And I think that's how I've been really challenged the most, and it put me in a deeper space that I never really experienced before. Because, like I said, I never experienced any of that stuff like that. I've experienced different heartbreak. I've experienced different things, but death. I've experienced, like, all these kind of things, but that stuff specifically really hit me to a deeper level. And I think, finding my way out of it was tough. I know you saw me throughout all of it, but I really think that those challenges are what pushed me to take that next step.
And I want to stop you right there, because I hope all of you listening and watching right now truly understand that at any stage in your life, there is going to be very difficult, very unpredictable,
Hmm.
and very defeating sometimes things that
Yeah,
come up in your life.
absolutely.
And what Justin just mentioned, the splitting of his parents, going through a breakup with a girlfriend, those are very big, monumental life changes
Hmm.
to happen, especially at one time.
Yeah.
And Crody, I want to say right here, right now, bro, like, I look up to you and I admire you so much,
Mhm.
because you're right. I did see how much those things affected you. but I also saw how much you grew from it.
Mm.
And you've always been smiley. You've always been like the kindest, most genuine. I wouldn't say soft spoken because you can get pretty rowdy on the pitch, but you've always been
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
a genuinely great
I
character
appreciate
person.
that.
And I think it's fair to say I've seen you at some of your lowest points. I've seen you at some of your highest points,
Mm,
and you've always found a way to just ride the ebbs and flows and just stay in the middle. And
mm,
it's been hard. It's definitely been some uphill battles, but
mm,
I've seen you do it. And as athletes or as people entering a very cutthroat sports, music, and entertainment industry, you have to ride the ebbs and flows. There's going to be
absolutely.
peaks, there's going to be valleys.
Mm,
Don't get too high off the peaks. Don't get too deep in the valleys. You got to ride the ebbs and flows because if you don't, you're going to crash and burn, and it's going to be very difficult.
yeah.
And just to bring it back, I'm just so incredibly proud of you for the growth that you've had, the boundaries that you've set for yourself,
Mm.
and also just the confidence that you've had. Like you've always been a confident guy, but you carry yourself like him. You're Himothy, bro. Like you're him. And so it's been such an honor being able to see the man that you are growing, and I just admire and look up to you so much. And if you were to describe the Justin Wolfe that you are now in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
Dang. Well, first, I want to say I appreciate you very, very much. And those were all very kind words. And it means a lot. It
Of
really
course,
does. Because, I mean, I look up to you as well, bro.
appreciate that.
You don't realize that I really do. Because, especially how much you've been through. And, I mean, after I say this, you can tap into it if you want to as well a little bit. But, some of your challenges. But everything you've been through, I really seen your growth, your
Thank you.
confidence, the way you've just went like that after such a crazy time, you know. But I commend you for that,
Appreciate
100%.
that.
But 3 words, damn. Hmm, happy. Because that's just me. I think
Yep.
that's just me. Definitely say confident. I think I've found a different confidence in myself on and off the field. I think, there's still gonna be moments, but I have a lot more trust in myself and belief in myself. And dang, I'd say gracious.
Mm.
I think I'm very grateful for everything in my life. I think like literally everything, the highs, the lows, everything. God, like I I don't think it. If I wasn't grateful, I don't think I'd be the person I am. I think me thanking thanking God, thanking every single person for being a part of my life, every single thing happening in my life, I wouldn't be Justin. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't appreciate the little things and the big things in life. And that's all I try to do is appreciate the little things and big things because at the end of the day, long term, it's gonna mean so much more.
I love that, brother. I love that. Now to send us out, and we're gonna be ending all future episodes like this. What is your pitch to our family, to our Pitch and Pros family, on how
Mm.
they can become pros at cultivating, managing, and enjoying their relationships in all of life, but specifically within the sports, music, and entertainment industry?
Um, wow. My pitch, I think, is just I. I don't want to say balance because, like I said, it's cliche. It's what everyone says. But to be 100% honest, I think it's just be great. Going back to being gracious, I think be grateful for the moments you create. I think if you are not grateful for like where you are and being like able to experience what you're experiencing, you're not going to get very far, to be 100% honest. Because I think you have to appreciate the fact that you get to play the sport you're playing. You get to be around the people you love. Some people don't have the ability to play a sport either because of physical or mental problems, or it could be even in terms of like relationships with family, they lose family members like at a very early age. They might be distant from their family members. They might not be able to make friends because of social problems. So I think the fact if you can create these things for yourself and have those relationships around you, You have to be grateful. You need to be, because that's the only way you can really take steps forward and you can be the absolute best version of yourself to get to where you want to be in terms of the pro lifestyle and anything you want to do.
Boom. Very well said. And I second that 1000%. But thank you, everybody that watched, that listened to this episode of the Pitch and Pros podcast. I'm your co-host, Stefan Jones. If you want to follow me, it's at Stefan, Stefanc Jones on Instagram. And I obviously follow our Pitch and Pros account as well, at
Yes.
Pitch and Pros, PITCHANDPROS. Justin, you go ahead and give me your username as well, brother.
Yes. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it is at Justin Wolf 06. I remembered it this time. And yeah, I mean, you can follow us, both of our individual journeys, our journey together. Yeah, I mean, I really hope you learned a lot, listened, and appreciated what we offer for you. I appreciate this man a lot. We're pitching pros.
Yes, sir,
See you
baby.
next time.
Appreciate you too, Crody.
Catch you.